Welcome to It All Boils Down to This, the podcast where father and son take the kitchen table arguments and heated discussions from their home directly to yours. Jim and Jack Boyle will explore the world as only they can. We might even let a few guests join the fun. So sit back, choose a side, watch the water temperature rise, and enjoy stimulating generational conversation about sports and life.
Dallo joining in from fullback. Dallo for Garnacho! Oh wow! Oh wow! That is one of the great goals in front of a stunned Gladys Street. Special beyond special. How has he plucked that one out?
Well, the move was good enough, but the finish, every one of these Everton fans, not going to happen. Should be applauding that because they won't see a goal at Goodison Park like that for a long, long time.
We had to start this week with this week's show with a goal scored by a Manchester United player, Alejandro Garnacho. And I know I've been talking about Manchester United on this podcast every once in a while, and it's not been a great season for us. But when something like that happens, you gotta mention it. And it's kind of taken the football world by storm this week. The goal that he just scored. If you haven't seen it, you got to look it up. But again, I know not a lot of you know a lot about soccer if you're listening to this, but you probably have heard of Manchester United, and it's not too far-fetched to say that goal scored is the greatest goal scored in the history of the club. So just a remarkable moment and something I have to celebrate. He's 19 years old, too. Just awesome stuff.
All right, so welcome to episode 16, Jack. It all boils down to this. Start with Premier League. That was a great goal, I have to admit. I saw it. Just unbelievable athleticism that he had. It wasn't only that. It was the ball came from probably 40 yards away. Yeah. Right? So
on the line. Yeah, on the line. He had to run back to get it. Yeah, and I just wanted to play that because I wanted Peter Drury's on the call there. I normally don't like him, but I think he did a very good job with that call. And Lee Dixon with the little, best goal you'll see at this stadium in a long time is a good one. So as a fellow announcer yourself, I thought they did a good job there. I know you didn't like us playing some dead air, but the crowd was kind of stunned. You have to notice, or you have to know that the Everton fans were like protest. They had just gotten points deducted from them by the Premier League, so they were protesting loud as can be for the first. That happened in the second minute of the game, so they were as loud as could be, and it kind of just shut up the crowd. It was what a moment. Oh, I was stunned watching it. Absolutely stunned.
They weren't as loud as you were downstairs watching it, though.
Oh my God!
To say that was like I knew something crazy had happened because you were screaming at the TV about this incredible goal. So I held off to watch it, but I did watch it. I have to say that just the athleticism of the 19-year-old kid to be able to do that. I mean, without even hurting himself, doing a bicycle kick, hitting into the net. Probably the odds of it going in the net are probably slim and none, which is what makes it such a great goal.
No, he won't ever score a goal like that again in his career. Not many people do anyways, so...
Yeah,
just great stuff. And just to give a quick EPL update, Premier League update, because I know we do have some, like Kevin, who calls in. He likes Arsenal are on top of the league. They just got a big win over the weekend. Man City did play Liverpool. I thought Man City played a lot better than Liverpool. Liverpool did come out, though, getting a draw on the road at the Etihad, which is a tough place to go. Nobody got results there last year, so to see Liverpool go and get a draw there is good. It should be an interesting title race. Obviously, Manchester United were not in the title race, but we're the most informed team in the league somehow, and we're only 4 points off top four right now, and we're starting to get healthy, so watch out for us in the top four race. And then just a special shout-out to Tottenham Hotspur, who got a new manager, and everyone was loving this manager, and he kept running his mouth, and everyone was not running his mouth, but he was talking, and was like, look at this guy, he says all the right things, he's great. They start getting injuries, and, they're unbeaten their first 10 games, and they've lost 3 in a row now, and their coach, I saw, kept saying stuff, kind of calling out my coach about how he hears managers talking about how they can't play their own style because they don't have the right players for it. He's like, why don't you just play your own style? It doesn't matter what players you have. Well, guess what? He don't have the right players now, still playing his style. Guess what? They're losing. So F that guy, Big Ange.
All right. So, okay, real quick, Premier League. Who are the top contenders? Man U is what, 5th? 6th?
We are 6th, maybe, because Aston Villa is having a great season, and then
Aston Villa,
Newcastle might be above.
Newcastle,
they're not.
Arsenal,
they're not contenders. Those aren't contenders. The contenders are Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man City. I still don't know if Liverpool are good enough. I still don't know. But you have to say after getting that draw at the Etihad that they're contenders. So yeah, those 3 are contenders. I would be surprised if Liverpool won the league. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal won the league, though. And obviously City probably will win it.
Liverpool's John Henry's the Fenway Sports Group, right?
Yes, they are, yep.
And Chris Greco was in last week. He's a Liverpool guy.
Yep.
And then Kevin O'Donnell, big Arsenal guy. I mean, he goes up and down. He's the Dow Jones of Arsenal guys.
He's been a big pain with them this year.
And then the other thing is, just real quick, the Everton thing's kind of, it happened 2 weeks ago. I want to talk, we didn't get a chance to talk about it last time. It seems like they got points deducted for being financially corrupt.
Yeah, basically. I don't know too much about it and how the decision came to be, but yeah, it's something about the way they were spending money and their financial books and whatever, and the losses that they were having from the COVID stuff. And I don't know. I'm not the right person to ask about that, but it does. The thing is that they basically got punished because their lawyers aren't as good as Chelsea's and Man City's. Man City and Chelsea, or mainly Man City, they just like litigate everything out and just push it down the road. They have 115 financial charges against them, yet nothing happens because they just go into court and they get it pushed and pushed and pushed. So that's, I think, where the Everton fans and where everyone feels like the Everton fans have like something to be mad about.
And Everton, as you said, is one of the 4 teams that never been relegated.
I think 7. I could be wrong, but I think it's Manchester United, No, you know what? I think Manchester City's been relegated, so I think one of 6 teams that hasn't been relegated. So Everton, Tottenham, Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea.
And losing 10 points pushes them close to the bottom of the table. But like we said,
they're now second to last.
Still 4 months to play, right?
Yeah, I still think Everton should be able to, even with the 10-point deduction, stay above water and not get relegated, which would be you have to finish in the bottom 3 in the league to get relegated. They might get some of the points back. They're countersuing, so they might get 1 or 2 or 3 points back. But even with the 10 points, I think they're a good enough team to stay up.
And then for those of us who do watch Welcome to Wrexham, they did win 6-0, I think, this weekend. And they're now in the top 3 of the table, which means in League 2 they could be promoted to League 1, which then gets you to the Champion League, and then to the Premier League. And I think Rob and Deadpool have done a great job with them as well.
They're climbing fast. They haven't really hit any setbacks yet. It'll be interesting to see when they do down the road, whether it's in League 1, whether they do, obviously this year, say they get through and get to League 1 next year. What if they go win League 1? Eventually they're going to hit a setback, and I want to see how they respond to that.
Well, eventually it comes down to money.
I know,
right? And I think
that's
that
like there's eventually going to be a point where
be.
They can't just keep rising up. But they could go to the Premier. They're not going to go to the Premier League in 4 years. There's eventually going to be a time when something happens in the fan. That's when it gets tough.
Oh yeah. So, but didn't Luton Town come all the way from the National League?
No, they did. I'm saying it's possible, but it's not going to happen. They're not going to go up every year. They might go up back-to-back years, but eventually there's going to be a time where they're going to struggle and the fans could start getting upset. But I think they have enough in the bank with those fans for the rest of their lives.
Yes, that makes sense for that. Okay, great soccer talk here. Start the podcast off on the Boyles down to this. We haven't done a lot of Premier League. And I know it's only January, and there's international break, and they're playing Champions League and Europa League, but
no international break till March now,
which will make you happy, right?
Through, yeah. The Christmas playing period in the Premier League it's a lot because a lot of the leagues get breaks, but that's really when it kicks in for the Premier League teams. They really start playing a lot around Christmas.
I think we transitioned to the other kind of football, correct? Is that where we're going next?
Yeah, I do go. JTrev is texting me stuff. Right now. I'll read a little bit of it, but we got it a bit late, and that was kind of my fault. So yeah, we're gonna do the Thanksgiving games. So how'd you feel about the Thanksgiving games?
Well, they were sort of like not great.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Like every year.
I missed the first one, which was the Packers and the Lions. Mm-hmm. I was trapped because we had done the Thanksgiving game here in town.
You didn't miss anything.
And I guess I didn't miss anything, except for, Simone Biles, her husband.
Yeah,
for the Packers, he scored his first touchdown.
I saw that.
She was all happy about that. Lions, I have to worry
I do
now.
something about that.
I have to worry about
people
the
are
Lions.
saying, like, why don't they post about Simone Biles' husband more often? Like, they always post Travis Kelce, and someone posted, like, not a highlight reel, but like a fail reel of him. And it's like, this is why they don't post, because he sucks.
Well,
but he did score a touchdown.
But that was game number 1 of the weekend. Was there any of the other two? Were any of the other two any good?
The Lions, they puked on themselves again on Thanksgiving. That they haven't won since 2016 on Thanksgiving. I'd like to know what their record is this century, because there's no way they've won many games this century on Thanksgiving.
I think they lost like 6-8 in a row now.
The next game, Dak just dropped his nuts on the Commanders. Jerry Jones said it was like the best day of his life, better than the Super Bowl wins, which was kind of interesting. It was like the highest rated game, one of the highest rated NFL games ever. Yep. So I guess the ratings are still coming in these blowouts. And then the last game was JTrev's lock. I think he had the Seahawks the Seahawks plus a lot of points against the Niners, and the Niners beat them up. So JTrev lost his lock of the week that he gave on the podcast last week.
Yeah, so
I didn't watch any of that game.
So the Cowboys rolled, which you expect. The Niners rolled, which was probably expected, even though it was in Seattle.
Yeah, I think Seattle was coming off a bye week.
So three of the best teams in the NFC played.
Yeah.
Two of them played really well. One of them shite the bed. So the Lions.
I don't think the Lions are any good. So you can say they're the. I think, like I said, the Lions and the Seahawks are on the same level to me.
That's true. Then we had the special. I know you have a take on this one. We had the Friday afternoon special, or whatever time that was. The Jets and the Dolphins on the Friday afternoon special.
Yeah, so that's Amazon Prime Day. So my thing is, Thursday Night Football has been a disaster, honestly. The announcing's been a disaster without Michaels. Herb Street really doesn't want to be there. The games have sucked. Is the reason Amazon paid for this is they get NFL games a little bit, but they also get this Friday standalone game where they try and keep people in their houses and shop it on Amazon Prime on Black Friday. So they put on, because there never used to be a football game on that Friday, right? They put on a football game on Black Friday. Who's doing it? Amazon. What does Amazon want you to do? Stay inside, not go shopping in the stores. So I think that was actually a pretty good idea. I didn't watch any of that game. I didn't even know it was on. But yeah, the Dolphins, I think they've kind of gotten to a point where they're underrated. Because everyone kind of quit on them because they couldn't beat any good teams. But I think they're a little bit underrated.
But then also playing the AFC East, which is now getting to be more mediocre than it looks, because they're going to win that because of Buffalo's performance, which we'll talk to a bit later. But again, Friday, what the heck? I remember Friday after Thanksgiving used to be huge college football rivalry day. I mean, big. All the Oklahoma State, Texas A&M. Michigan,
they played
Ohio State. It always was a big Friday weekend, Black Friday college football. And now I guess you got to look at it that way. The NFL knows what they're doing. They want to market it if that's what Amazon wants to do. I never thought of that take like that, but that's a good take on that one. And then we get to the weekend, and then now you have Sunday, and you have crap versus crap versus crap versus
You got
crap.
the scores here. Just read off some of the scores.
We have the.
What was the first game?
The first game was the Saints-Falcons, 24-15 Falcons. Second game, Steelers 16, Bengals 10.
No, honestly, I watched no NFL football this weekend. The games on Saturday were so good that the college games on Saturday were so good that I could not get upset with football on Sunday again. So I really just didn't watch.
All right, but
if we're being honest,
just to go down the list: Saints-Falcons, snooze fest.
Yeah.
Steelers-Bengals, snooze fest.
Yeah.
Panthers-Titans, got Frank Reich fired, snooze fest. Colts-Buccaneers 27-20. These games are horrible. Oh, and then we'll skip the next one because we'll talk about it. The Giants-Patriots will leave to the end. Jaguars-Texans, where the Jaguars won 24-21, two of the best young quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud and Lawrence in that one. Broncos really playing well since Miami threw 50 on them. Broncos are really playing well. They're 6-6 and back.
Well, since we don't have to read the JTrev things, they're coming in right now. So the first one was, I'll just give a quick. You just said the Broncos. Team of the week, the Broncos. Let Russ cook. On this 5-game win streak, Russ looked a lot like the old Russ, making plays outside the pocket and with his legs. Stats aren't anything crazy, but the efficiency he's playing with has been a huge boom for the offense. Sean Payton definitely has the training wheels off a little bit, but Russ is commanding the offense impressively while protecting the ball. Defense is playing well. Blah 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 blah. It's hard to beat. It's hard to believe that this is the same team that allowed a historic 70 points to the Dolphins earlier in the year. So yeah, they've really turned a corner.
They have, and you got to trust that it's a decent quarterback and a great coach. That combination works very well in the NFL. Decent quarterback, great coach.
And did you mention the Chargers game?
No. Have we got?
Guess what? JTrev. What was the score of the Chargers game?
Oh, that was the Ravens-Chargers 20-10.
The Ravens obviously won that game because JTrev he finds it very hard to believe that Brandon Staley can still get into the building at the Chargers practice facility, but there is little to no chance he'll have a job at the end of the season. Same story with this team every season. An above-average roster with high-level talent at a few key positions that also has deficiencies in other areas that are continuously ignored. When you combine those deficiencies with confusing coaching decisions, untimely penalties, and turnovers, and a lack of a knack for winning close games, you get a team that looks like the Chargers. The Ravens game on Sunday night was a prime time example of how this team continues to get in their own way. No one's doubting that the Ravens are superior, but there was still plenty of opportunities for the Chargers to take the lead in this game. Instead, Herbert and the rest of the guys have left us wanting more as usual. Khalil Mack has been excellent for much of the season, but a lot of the talent surrounding him is underperforming mightily. For as good as Herbert is, he often struggles to seal the deal at the end of the games. There is unquestionably something intangibly wrong with the organization, and it's time for big changes. So, the Chargers.
But again, maybe we're overrating their talent. I know the coach has not done well, but again, I like we had the discussion with JTrev about talent and what you're looking for. Maybe just we have overrated them a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we've underrated Miami and overrated them. But I agree with them. The Chargers didn't have a great night. The Patriots could have been the worst team of the week as well. The three other games, we had the Patriot game. We'll finish up with that. The Rams-Cardinals. The Rams destroyed the Cardinals in a completely meaningless game. Chiefs-Raiders. Chiefs had a great second half, beat the Raiders.
Yeah, the Chiefs were I think they were down 14-0 in that game. The Chiefs.
Yeah, they were. They're now 8-3. They have the number one seed. Bills-Eagles. Again, you can talk about this all night. The Bills came back, the Eagles came back, the Bills came back, the Eagles came back, and then on a blitz by the Eagles in overtime, Josh Allen throws the ball where he expects his receiver to be, and the receiver's not there. Whose fault is that? I don't know. I'd love to ask that to JTrev.
That was both of them. It was I don't know. It was a miscommunication from both of them. They just weren't on the same page, which can't happen when the game is over if he was wide open.
And then they have to kick the ball for the field goal. And then the Eagles somehow miraculously pull everything out like they've been doing all year.
Even before then, though, I mean, the Eagles hit the 60-yard field goal in the rain. So it was one of the best kicks ever. Yeah. So the Bills did get kind of unlucky to win that game. Allen had a bad turnover at one point, but Allen played pretty good at times. Hurts average. He played good at the end, but there was a play in overtime when the Eagles got the ball, and it was like 3rd and 4, and the Bills played like the softest coverage ever and gave up the easiest first time I've ever seen. The game's over at that point.
That was like a little swing pass to the AJ. Somebody real quick opened right and Hurts hit him, and then they won the Hurts rush.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to listen to my dad and my brother about the Eagles, but they might. I don't know.
They keep finding ways to win.
They find ways to win, but eventually it's like the Bills find ways to lose, and the Eagles find ways to win.
Yeah.
And then our final game on let's not forget that great Monday night game, 12-10. Let's not even talk about it. How do you take football back 50 years? Have the Bears play the Vikings on a Monday night football?
Yeah, that game. Yeah, no. And people are going, you're gonna be missing this game. You're gonna be wishing this game was on in March. Yeah, no, I won't. No, I won't.
I agree with you on that. And then, okay, let's go to our hometown Patriots.
Maybe like J.Trev and those freak football guys will be like, "Oh, I missed this. I missed it. I can't believe it's not on." But
did you see? Where was I watching?
I was missing that.
Oh, it was Brian Dable. This is a good segue. They were talking Dable when he coached for Bill here. One of his first jobs out of when he started to become an assistant coach was his role was to go to the 22 tape, which shows all 22 men on the field, and he had to outline every single play of the game. He said it took about 12 hours for him to do every play. Dable, who coaches for that's how in-depth Belichick was. Let's take a step forward where we are now. He's got 2 quarterbacks going. Is he tanking? Is he really tanking? Or is it just that bad here?
I think it's a mixture. They're not preparing as much as they should be. I don't know. There's no way you shouldn't be able to win that game with the Patriots. I don't know. The Giants suck. The Pats suck. It ends up being good. I mean, then again, they did have a 40-yard field goal to go to overtime that the kid just missed. But that was Bill Belichick sending out Nick Folk and drafting that kid. So it's a mixture. The Patriots are terrible. This is one of the first Patriots games I really didn't watch because, like I said, we're talking about football. I didn't watch much. But that was bad. Just the score was bad. Everything was bad. The turnovers were bad. Everyone turned the ball over. Everyone who played turned the ball over. Just at this point, shut it down and get the best draft pick possible. Even though in the NFL that really doesn't work, but you know what I like. You know what I want.
Well, it only works if the quarterback to be taken number 1 is
Trevor Lawrence. But
Trevor Lawrence or last one that was successful, I forget. Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota.
Did you see? It was
Mitch
Tepper.
Trubisky.
So the Cardinals owner said that they were supposed to trade up to number 2 and draft C.J. Stroud instead of trading up for number 1. The owner just said that about his but the owner is saying that about his franchise quarterback.
You know the funny
Bryce Young. We didn't even want you.
Oh, that's Carolina.
Yeah,
that's what you get. He's gone through 4 coaches in 3 coaches in like 5 years. Rivera, Rule, and Reich. So I don't know. He's maybe it's the ownership sometimes.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the ownership
as you
there.
look at
They're a terribly run organization. JTrev gave me a couple players, best players of the week. Trevor Lawrence, 23 for 38, 364 yards, touchdown to TD rush. Kyren Williams, 16 rushes, 143 yards, 6 catches, 61 yards, and 2 touchdowns for him. Jordan Love, 22 for 32, 268 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 turnovers, 126 quarterback rating, his best game of the season.
And that's right. They took the chance. They got rid of Rodgers and kept Love. And you got to hope that the coach, it's LaFleur there, right? Yeah, you got to hope that he can develop the quarterback. But again, that NFC North is just garbage. It's the Vikings, the Bears, the Lions, and the Packers, and the Lions get beat up by the Packers. It's just let me just look at the records here. Hold on. Packers are 5-6. The Lions are 8-3. So I guess they're going to.
The Lions are at least competent, I guess. But again, that was a bad loss. We'll see how they bounce back next week. The Lions.
Who's JTrev's worst player?
It has not been texted yet, so I guess we're gonna have to move on.
He has not been texted yet.
We'll be nice this week. So that's I guess that's it for the NFL, right? I mean, it's a boring week. Do you want to give the top teams?
If you rank the top, I think again, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Dallas are the top 3 teams. Whoever comes out of the NFCs from there is probably got to.
I still think the Chiefs beat those other 2 teams.
Oh no, they don't
for sure. Yeah,
they don't know.
They beat all three of those teams. They're still the best team. They beat the Eagles. I know they lost the Eagles, but they don't.
Chiefs have to get out of the week.
That was another game that the Eagles somehow won. How did they beat the Chiefs? Oh, because the guy can't catch the football. You know what? When it matters most, the guys are going to catch the football on the Chiefs. So the Chiefs are still number 1 for me. Chiefs.
I want to go Chiefs. I keep Chiefs are number.
Chiefs, Eagles,
3.
Niners, Cowboys, Ravens.
No, Eagles, Niners, Chiefs, Cowboys, Ravens, Jaguars. Everybody else is not. And maybe Miami because they are playing well. So, okay, we can say goodbye to the NFL because the NFL can be the no fun league or really boring league or they play crappy football league. I know that
there was a good game.
Tom Brady backtracked a little bit on his comments. He was saying that the scheming is different. I forget he bullshit you somehow.
He doesn't like that. Yeah,
onward and upward.
We don't have to talk about Tom. Let's get to college football because college football. What a great weekend it was. Let's get to our college football expert, Kevin
O'Donnell.
All right, guys, back again here. Only feels like a couple days ago since I was last in the WCTV studio with all the guys and the whole crew. That was an awesome time, and just want to thank everybody that works behind the scenes at WCTV for staying open on Thanksgiving Eve to get us all together. That was really awesome for us, and we truly appreciate it. And also want to give a big thanks to the Boyle family because I basically lived in their living room for 3 nights. Throughout Thanksgiving weekend. Lots of laughs, lots of great times, as always at the Boyle household. So just want to thank everybody in the fam there. On to the gambling recap. Another roughly 500 week. I went 9-10-1, but most importantly, my lock hit again. 6-1 in locks now. Mizzou murdered Arkansas. I turned the game off in the middle of the third quarter. Usually I like to stay, invested in my locks, but I was just so right this week. I just had to get to the other games, so I turned it off in the middle of the third quarter.
Mizzou is the Penn State of the SEC, right? That was to say.
Yeah. So great weekend in college football. Just to recap it quickly, in the big game, Michigan beat Ohio State. Great game, very tight. I think playing at the Big House definitely helped out Michigan. But when it came down to it, Kyle McCord is just not a good quarterback. He's another 5-star prospect QB in the Big Ten that just isn't living up to the hype, even though he's much better than Drew Aller. And I think if you swap J.J. McCarthy and Kyle McCord, I think Ohio State has a good chance or probably does win that game. And that's not saying McCarthy's that great. It's just saying McCord is that bad.
So about this Ohio State game, I disagree actually with that McCord take.
I agree with you about
McCord has talent. He made some really good throws, right? He had the interception in the first quarter where he was trying to get settled into the game was horrible. It was hard. You can't throw an interception there. You can't let Michigan start on their own 5-yard line when you have a really good defense. You can't give them points like that. But he threw the interception at the end of the game where he shouldn't have thrown the ball. Got it. He was playing at the Big House. He was playing on the road. It's tough to play on the road. He made some nice throws. It's not easy to go in there and play. I know Kevin mentioned that. And the difference in the game, he's right, it was McCarthy didn't make mistakes, and McCord did. It also was Ohio State's kicker missed a 50-yarder. Michigan's kicker made a 50-yarder. But again, that's home and away, maybe a little bit, has an effect on that. If they played at a neutral field, which is what I would like to see them in the playoffs, if they played Michigan at a neutral field, I think Ohio State is the better team and would beat them because they have Maserati Marv, who's unguardable. I just think the mistakes were the difference in that game, and I know McCord. It's too much to say he's awful. Drew Aller is awful. McCord is not awful. You can at least win with McCord. I think. Again, the mistakes, it shouldn't happen, but he made some really nice throws in that game. So did McCarthy, by the way.
And he also has McCord also has the number one talent in the college football, so that helps.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He was great in that game. He was phenomenal.
I don't know. Watching that game, Ryan Day's. I don't know. I think Ryan Day isn't flexible enough. He tried to force the round peg in a square hole too much, and the turnovers kill you, of course. He threw the interception in the first quarter and the interception on the last drive that got tipped. He didn't get out of his own way. Is that yes? Right, that end of the game. Was that the one? Yeah. Which made the
spread. That was the last drive, but they were. It was a long shot for them to score on that drive. Anyways.
Correct. It would have been
no
that.
timeouts.
But again, I don't know if you play neutral. Neutral, I still think they go 5-5. They don't go 6-4. I think they're that evenly matched.
Yeah.
Defense. Which defense turns you over?
But
to win?
but if that game was played, at like last year, they got killed at the Horseshoe there in Ohio State, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Horseshoe. They got killed, but Michigan just dominated them there. They absolutely like men versus boys. If they played that game at the Horseshoe this year, Ohio State wins that game 100%.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Those two teams. Can either of them beat SEC team?
Yeah, I think so.
Would either of them have
Definitely
can Oregon
Alabama,
or Washington give them trouble?
Yeah. No, yeah, I think it's more even this year. I do think Georgia's the best team, but yeah, they could play with Alabama for sure. Both of those teams, yeah, definitely. So, I think they beat them.
That was my lock, and I lost because Michigan kicked that field goal, or I would have won.
Oh yeah, Kevin, yeah.
He'll probably say that next.
They got that field
goal.
I'm ready to mention that. We got into the next game.
Oh yeah, go.
On to the Iron Bowl. Basically one of the best football games I've seen in a long time, and maybe the craziest last 5 minutes of a football game I've seen in many years. For Auburn to muff the punt and then give up a 4th and goal from 30 yards away to basically lose the game, and to have that guy be in single coverage is just crazy. I mean, it's just crazy. My college roommate was there. He goes to med school in Auburn, and just felt so bad for him. He wasn't like those girls on Instagram or TikTok that were crying, but he was very devastated.
He's a Xavier guy, though.
But it's why we love sports. I mean, that's just one of those games that's going to be talked about for a very long time. On to the other ones quick.
That game was something else. Honestly, it was something else. I can't believe Auburn lost that football game. I can't believe they lost that football game. It's 10 years after the kick 6, so I guess it's payback. But 4th and 31, you cannot give up. But 4th and 30, it's not only 4th and 31. It's 4th and 31 where you have the end zone guarding you, having the back of the end zone as a defender too.
I agree with that.
It's almost impossible to give that up. And they rushed 2, and they had a guy spying the quarterback. 4th and 31, you're spying the quarterback. The quarterback's going to run 31 yards on you. You got to spy him. Coaching malpractice. That was coaching malpractice.
Well, two things happened. As I watched the replay, first of all, he made a great pass. I give him credit. Great pass. Kid caught it where he had to catch it. But I watched that, and I think that Alabama had 4, maybe 5 receivers out in the field, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5 players who could catch the football and the quarterback. So spying the quarterback makes a little bit of sense because of his adept ability to get out of the way. But if they have 5 guys deep and they're rushing 2, even they're rushing 3, that means you have 8 to guard 5. There's no way. I think the kid, the safety, or whoever was the nickel back in the back end of the end zones, there were 2 defenders here, and the kid cut through to the first defender, and I think they just lost the coverage.
There was one guy guarding nobody.
Coverage. Yeah,
there's one guy guarding nobody.
He's guarding space,
there,
right?
Looking at him, yeah.
And it's just that, and it's unbelievable to me. The muff punt kills it. It's just even funnier. Yeah. Auburn had that game won. Yeah. Auburn had to catch the punt and just run clock, and they win the football game.
But then Alabama got the ball. They couldn't snap the ball. They snapped the ball. They missed the snap. That's how we got to a 4th and 31 in the first place. So yeah, it sucks. I guess it makes the Georgia Alabama game a little bit better. So I guess it's a good thing that Alabama won. But no one thought Auburn had a chance in that game. So it would have been nice to see them win.
Yeah. So the next question, just real quick on that on our game against Alabama. I don't know if we're going to go to this, but what if Alabama wins the football game? So you have 2 one-loss teams, Alabama, Georgia, and Washington, Michigan, and Florida State win. They're undefeated. Who goes?
Washington, Michigan, and Florida State are undefeated.
And the one-loss teams are Texas.
And who won? Alabama beat
Georgia.
goes.
Texas wins their conference.
Alabama and the 3 undefeated teams, yeah.
Okay. No,
you can't leave out the SEC champion.
How come Texas doesn't go?
Because you can't leave out the SEC champion. Beating Georgia, the 2-time defending national champions, and having 1 loss, I don't care if it had the head-to-head record. The first game of the year, you got to take Alabama.
Okay. I just wanted to get your opinion.
Easily, yeah.
All right, let's get more Kevin if we have any more. I'm sure we do.
Oh, a ton more.
Texas and Oregon dominated. They made me look silly not laying their numbers. I thought Texas Tech and Oregon State would play them tight. But the Texas game ended up with Arch Manning coming in, and the Oregon State head coach already had his mindset on East Lansing at the time. Washington hung on against Washington State, another close game that Washington just finds a way to win, going for it on that 4th down at their own 30 and converting that with that crazy trick play. I believe it was a handoff to Adunze on a jet sweep. I mean, gotta love Washington. What a fun team. And then FSU came back to beat Florida. JTrev was beside himself with Billy Napier in the Gators. It was very funny, and a great cameo from Tim Tebow at the start of the game too. He was basically crying. Always love to see Tebow, at the Swamp. And so for a preview.
All right, so real quick on Tebow, and we were making fun of him being crying, emotional. That's how I was after Garnacho scored that goal. So apologies to Tim Tebow. Right. I had tears in my eyes. Oh, it was that good.
Okay.
All right,
let's keep going.
No, the Washington game. Can you believe he went for that in a tie game on his own 30-yard line? If you don't get that play, your season's over.
Well,
it ends up. It's not over. But a one-loss Washington team is not making it. Even if they beat Oregon.
I think I don't know why he did. I think he lost track of the downs. Somebody didn't tell him right.
It was crazy. I mean,
he felt like he had the matchup and he won. He didn't. Again, just like
they played reckless after that.
Just like the Auburn Alabama game, weird things happen sometimes, and he capitalized on that.
Yeah, and then Florida State winning at the Swamp. That Florida State, that was a tough second half from them. I mean, didn't allow any points. They actually might have allowed points. No, I'm thinking of Clemson. They just a real tough second half performance from Florida State there. So credit to them.
I got to stick with my boys.
They were on the ropes a little bit there.
I got to stick with the Seminoles because I picked them all year long, and they lost their quarterback, and they seem to have rebounded. Beat a good SEC team on the road, which is tough to do. I got Louisville coming up in the conference championship game. I still think they make the Final Four.
Yeah. So before we go on to the upcoming championship week, talk about that a little preview with Kevin. There were 2 more games he didn't cover here. My lock of the week, which now gets me to 3-2. I had Clemson by 7.5 points against South Carolina. Just totally, kind of emasculated them. They scored 7 points in the first quarter, didn't score the rest of the game. South Carolina. That Clemson defense, I've been talking about it all year. It's why I keep picking them. I got them in the under the one game against UNC. That was one of my locks of the week. They made Rattler and USC look awful. I do want to talk about Clemson here because there's a little bit of regret. So their 4 losses this year, Duke. The first week of the season, they got blown up by Duke. That was when, everything was falling apart. Right. They lost to FSU when their kid couldn't make a kick. That kid didn't make the chip shot, who was kicking like crazy. He made 3 kicks against South Carolina last week. They lost to Miami, and they lost to NC State. I think if they played all 4 of those teams right now, they'd beat them all. I think they look back at their season and go, we had a chance to go undefeated this year and make that. They were that good of a team. I'm telling you, they've become that good of a team. I'd like to see what they play in a bowl game. They're going to win their bowl game. They're a good football team. Kevin made me like Clemson. He made me like Clemson.
He made you like Dabo Swinney, which is amazing to me.
That Clemson team, I think they're a lock.
That was your lock of the week, right?
Yep. And then the other game I had to talk about, the lowest over-under in the history of college football, 24.5. Nebraska, Iowa actually went under because Brock Purdy's brother made the dumbest play of all time. Somehow Nebraska doesn't make a bowl game. Nebraska finds a way to lose games. They found a way to lose like 4 different games this year. So, tough first season for Matt Rule. Needs to get a quarterback. If he doesn't get a quarterback in the transfer portal, it's going to be a tough second season. But,
his first year at Temple, though, there were some tough losses.
Yeah, well,
there.
It's different. It's different your first year at Temple. It's different your first year at Temple versus your first year at Nebraska with like this transfer portal NIL money too.
Yeah, Nebraska sucked for 5 straight years with Robert Frost, their coach, and Scott Frost. So we'll see what happens. Okay, that was the 2 games, right?
Yes.
Iowa, that game was a terrible game.
So let's
Terrible game.
let's get our next week preview from Kevin.
And so for a preview of next weekend, my favorite game, what I want to watch most is Oregon-Washington. I've loved the Pac-12 this whole year. Great conference. So sad that it's ending. Washington beat them last time out, and I called them to the pod right after that and said, don't be surprised if Oregon runs the table, gets back into the championship game, and beats Washington. I think that's exactly what will happen. A Heisman matchup here. If Bo Nix wins, I think he gets it. If Penix wins, then I think it's a toss-up between him and Daniels, really depending on Penix's performance in this. Other games, Texas, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State had a huge comeback win against BYU this past weekend to win in overtime and knock out Oklahoma from a Red River rematch this weekend. But I like Texas here. I think they're going to get the job done and then wait and see what else happens in the landscape to see if they can get in that fourth spot. Georgia-Bama, the game all of us have been waiting for as well. I like Georgia here. Milroe was screaming, "Give me the Heisman" after they won the Iron Bowl. That's insane. He can't throw still. And so, I even think Carson Beck on Georgia, who's had a very underrated season, might be better than him. I think if Georgia keeps Milroe in the pocket, they win, plain and simple. I just think Georgia's just a better version of Bama all around. Then there's Michigan, Iowa, in the Big Ten Championship. That's going to be a snooze fest. Michigan will win that. And then FSU Louisville. I mean, that's going to be crazy. I have no idea what's going to happen in this game. If you look at Louisville's season, they had two weird losses. One to Pitt in the middle of the season, after beating Duke and Notre Dame, and then Kentucky this past week as well, which was going to be Bob Stoops' farewell, but I guess not. Shout out to the A&M boosters. They're more powerful than like the United States Senate. I mean, they're insane. So we'll see what happens there. Very interesting game. I hope Louisville wins just because FSU being in the playoff and playing Georgia is just not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun. FSU too, but. And so this leads me to my lock of the week. Very hard this week, limited amount of games. Traditionally, like my sort of lock play would be Oklahoma State plus 15. I think that's there's a lot of opportunity for a backdoor cover. But it's a noon kickoff, and I can't really get excited for a noon kickoff. So what I'm going to do is something that I don't feel great with whatsoever, but I'm doing Georgia -6 against Alabama. I hate going against Saban, but I have this rush. I feel like I'm going to war. I'm going to war with this pick, and we'll see what happens. So that's my lock.
All right, that was Kevin this week. So his lock of the week, he's going with Georgia by 6. Georgia by 6. Yeah. I don't hate that pick. Did you do any research for a lock of this week? Because I'm going to pick one of these, but I have two that I really like.
Well, first of all, I would go with, if I look on the bet, I'd definitely go with Tulane over SMU in the American. I'm kidding.
What's the spread?
I don't have the spreads here. I'm going to go. My lock is Oregon beating Washington. I'm probably going to be a pick 'em in that because
wait till you hear this.
What is it?
It's like 8.5 Oregon.
Oh, I ain't going there.
It's literally, I'll get it for you. It's an outrageous line.
What's the FSU Florida Louisville?
So FSU.
I'll take that.
FSU. I was going to because I wore the hat again. I got to ride with FSU. FSU by 2.5 against Louisville.
I'm going FSU.
So I'll let you know what.
I'll take FSU. I got FSU.
Okay, that was going to be my lock, but I had two locks. And I'm gonna go with this other lock, and I'm gonna have to like pry my eyes open to watch this game. But Iowa's got 23 points against Michigan, and Iowa's got a really good defense, and they can control the time. But if I'm getting 23 points, I'm taking Iowa. Iowa plus 23 is my lock of the week. Now let me confirm that that's correct because that's a lot of points against a Michigan team that isn't like a dynamic offense, and an Iowa team that's a great defense and knows how to control the football.
And that's a neutral site. That's Indianapolis, right?
So Oregon is 9.5-point favorites. Okay.
Yep.
Alabama's 6, as Kevin said. Michigan's 23-point favorites.
Yep.
And Florida State is 2.5. So you're 2.5. Florida State. You're like 1-3 in locks.
Yeah, I'm terrible. Like, hey, you know what? I just
6-1's good from Kevin this year. That's I know. Incredible year.
I'm looking at this schedule. On Friday, December 1st, Oregon plays Washington. Where? Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas. On Saturday, December 2nd, Boise State plays UNLV. Where? Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas.
Busy week for Jeff.
Yes, he will work it. Jeff will be working really hard out there.
My cousin-in-law. I don't know what it is.
He's my he's my niece's husband.
Yeah. Yeah, so Iowa plus 23. Somehow I'm going to... I need some motivation to watch that football game, so plus 23 for that. And then before we get done with football for the week...
Can we get my favorite quote of the week? Is this coming up?
Yeah, go. What quote?
What is this? Where we got the assistant coach from Michigan?
Oh, I forgot to get it. I don't have Twitter on my phone. Oh yeah, you could explain it.
So the game ends, and the guy who was crying last week, I don't even know the coach's name, 37-year-old guy.
Yeah, I forget.
And
Sherrod.
Yeah, whatever. Something not Sherrod Brown. He's the senator from Ohio.
Yeah.
No, they start to interview him, and he says, "I couldn't be like any prouder of Michigan University." And I'm thinking, don't you coach at Michigan? It's the University of Michigan.
That's
U of M.
That's something that like alumni like get really like if you were to call it like the University of Temple. Like that's something that makes those people mad.
Yeah,
really, it does. So getting that wrong
people.
as the head coach of the football team is hilarious.
Yeah, and that's what the recruits sometimes think. I got my first offer from University of Temple.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
That was kind of funny. Okay, I'll let you go. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah,
that one baffled me.
I totally forgot
that
to get
happened
that
live.
audio.
We were sitting there watching. I think Kevin was the only one in the house with us that time.
No, Chris was there. Chris was stunned. He was stunned.
I just like, who? Okay, let's go.
Chris
Kevin.
actually didn't fall asleep watching that football game either. So
amazing.
That Ohio State, it was very good.
Chris also said that Pep Guardiola would take the state champion Wilmington High School soccer team.
Yeah. Before we move on and go on to whatever we have next, I have a little bit of college basketball to talk about. JTrev did get us his worst players of the week.
Okay.
Josh Dobbs threw 4 interceptions. The entire Cardinals defense allowed 230 rushing yards on 7 yards a carry, along with 4 touchdowns through the air. Sean McDermott, whose defense had no answers after halftime, consistently looks to deflect blame everywhere. So those 3 were his worst.
Those are his 3
McDermott, the Cardinals defense, and Josh Dobbs.
That's the first time he's picked a coach, I think.
Yeah, it's like the worst. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but that was
and if they win
number 3.
Oh, the question I have for JTrev would be if Buffalo ends up winning the game, the guy catches a touchdown. Is it him?
What?
McDermott, if they win the football game, is he still the worst performer of the day?
Yeah, JTrev's quite consistent with. He hates coach. We were watching this football. He hates bad coaching. He hates bad football. He doesn't hate bad football. He hates bad football plays, but he still likes watching it.
Yeah, he watches a lot. All right, so that's the college football. Real quick, as we leave college football, Jack, what do you got for
the playoff?
Your Final Four?
Yeah, it's easy. It's Georgia's going to win. Michigan's going to win. I think Florida State's going to win with you, and then we think Oregon's going to win.
I agree
you have
with
the same thing.
And
last week I had said Michigan. I had said Ohio State instead of Michigan. It's the same thing. It's just I was wrong about that.
That's correct. We were both wrong. We'll take a hit on that. You have something quick on college basketball, you said?
Yeah, well, just kind of some big games have happened. So Purdue won the Maui. Big tournament there. They beat Marquette, who's a very good team. Edey had a big putback to they were up 1. He had a big putback to go up 3. Marquette missed shots, and then I think Purdue might have missed 4 free throws in a row when they were fouling, and Marquette still couldn't get over the hump there. But good chance for Marquette to win that game. I know you have something to say about Purdue.
Well, I can't wait till they get knocked out in the second round of the tournament. I love the coach, Matt Painter.
Second, that's an improvement.
Yeah, but I have a question for you on that. I don't know if you and I discuss this or your Uncle Joe and I discuss this. What's with all the big guys in college basketball?
That's what college basketball always has been. I feel like though that's what it is. Yeah, I don't know.
It's not even any. And there's no similarity between that and the NBA.
Yeah, but because it's the way the NBA's played. It's like 7'4" big guy. He's not. What's he going to do for you? He's not athletic. Like he's not going to be able to run
unathletic.
He's not going to be able to run up and down the court. It's not like he's like Anthony Davis at 7 foot tall or like Victor Wembanyama 7'4". He's athletic and handle the ball and all that. So yeah, no, these big unathletic guys. Yeah,
and that's why I'm not sold on Iowa at all. I am sold.
Because if you think about
10 minutes, I'll go.
Zach Edey playing in the NBA, it's like, how's he going to defend the pick and roll in the NBA? Like when Tatum and Porzingis run a pick and roll, what's he going to do? He's going to fall. He can't even move.
It's like I like the Arizona team because, like I said, I saw them play and I've seen them play a couple times. But that Baloo guy who's there, if that's Joe will kill me. Their center there, I think, is Baloo.
Oh no,
Ballou.
I have. So that was my next take. Arizona, really good team. Ready? Thing. The big fella can't be on the court in late game situations.
Totally agree with you.
They kept
totally agree with you.
What's his name? Ballo.
Right. And I'll tell you, I saw him play live.
They're good.
And he just has. First of all, he can't shoot free throws. We know that.
Oh my God, it was so bad.
But he's so slow on the interior. He's never going to give you any more than a quick turnaround layup. Mm-hmm. And I think they're going to be. I think you need him because he gives you a little bit of defense and it gives defensive rebounding. But they struggle with him. I think they'll struggle down the road.
We were watching them play on Thanksgiving because we were at your brother's house, and his daughter goes to Arizona, so he's become a real big Arizona basketball fan. And Michigan State looked awful in the first half, and Arizona looked awesome. Arizona has this transfer from, I forget where he's from, great defensive player, can do a lot. Really
Johnson.
Good, yeah, really.
Cayenne Johnson from San Diego State.
Yeah, it's not Keon Johnson, it's like Cayenne. Yeah, it's Cayenne Johnson or something. Yeah, San Diego State, very good player. Michigan State, I wish I had the guy's name again, the point guard of Michigan State.
Walker?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, very good player, really brought them back in the game. Ended up being a close finish that Arizona snuck out with the win because what Michigan State kept doing, they were hack-a-tracking
the big
they
guy.
were hack-a-ballowing, and he could not make a... Like, I'm not even...
He missed, I think he missed like 5 out of 6 free throws.
Oh, I don't know about that. It might have been 6 out of 6. Okay, I don't know if he hit one. And then one more take I have. So, like, Temple is... And Syracuse is going to go through this soon. And it's a different level because of the conference there. Temple basketball, was it a great basketball program or is it the product of a coach? Syracuse basketball, is it a great basketball program or is it part of the coach? UConn basketball, was it a great basketball program or was it Jim Calhoun? What they have in Danny Hurley right now, national champion last year, number 3-4 team in the country now, they look great. It looks like they're going to stay as and like we talked about blue bloods, it looks like Hurley could, in the next 10 years, bring them into, that blue blood type. Same thing like Villanova's in the same situation, too. Is it a great basketball program or is it a coach product?
Who was that?
Villanova.
Okay.
It's the same thing. I think Hurley's got them back to... Maybe he could take them to a height that was higher, more consistent than what Calhoun had them at.
Okay,
He's a great coach. Great coach.
Let's run it back.
Yeah.
Temple had the great stretch because of the coach. No doubt about it. Temple's program is long-standing, but always in trouble with the league they were in. They were never in the right league to be able to recruit. So they started off in the ECAC. Then they got dissed out of the Big East. They went to the Atlantic 10. They dominated that. And then all the football stuff changed everything. Go to the AAC, and it's really, I think that's not great for them. But if you hire the right coach who can recruit and run offense that can get exciting, they could be okay. They will never be what they were under John Chaney. The times have changed, never have. Syracuse has the benefit of having Boeheim was the benefit of being in the Big East. And he dominated that, used that. Then he went to the ACC and they slacked down. I think that's a program that's not gonna ever rebound. I mean, they used to get 30,000 people in what was called the Carrier Dome. They'll still get that because it's a podunk little town.
That could die though. That could 10 years from now.
You never know what's going to happen.
Kevin Ali tanked that UConn program for a little bit.
And the other one is, but Ali won a national championship.
No, he won a national championship his first year.
UConn's going to be interesting to see because they are not. Just like Villanova, Syracuse and Temple have one thing going for them. Both they both still have not quality football programs, but they have football programs.
Did you say Temple?
Temple has a football.
Don't say quality football program.
Right, they have a football program. So I think that UConn and Villanova are going to at some point run into the problem where the Big East is only so good as long as they're associated with all the other Power 5 schools. But once those guys move out of football and all those teams move out, they will struggle because they do not have the football programs that continue. So I'll say Danny Hurley's done a great job recruiting. He did a great job at URI. Did a great job. I think he was at Wagner. Before URI. And it's the Seawolves, Wagner. Tommy T, that one's for you. But I don't know.
It's like, think about URI.
You think about UCLA. What the hell happened to them? What's going to happen to them? They're in the Big Ten now. Mm-hmm. So it's hard. I think the Blue Bloods, there's only like 4. Connecticut and Villanova are they're Big East Blue Bloods. That's how I would look at it. Connecticut made the choice to go to independent football. They're going to have their basketball program. They did get their national championship, so it was all worth it.
Well, if the shit hits the fan with all that, then UConn can say, "Oh, we'll play football. We'll go in the ACC or something." If what you say,
I don't think that happens.
You're preying on the downfall of the
I don't
East.
think that happens. I don't think the 64 schools that are going to split away. UConn is not going to be one of the 64. Villanova's going to win 64.
I think UConn has a chance.
Temple's not going to be one of 64, and Syracuse will be one of 64. That's my prediction. If they go that route.
I don't know. I feel like UConn could have a chance at that if they, I don't know. Just because I think their football program, they can at least say, hey, there's still play. JTrev was working the UMass UConn big rivalry game the other day, so they still play football.
UMass UConn rivalry.
Yeah, it's very historic.
There's a 2-12 team, a 2-10 team against a 2-10 team.
UMass, another one of those who They've made the tournament once.
They were all
with
coached.
Chaz
They
Williams.
was all coached.
They made the tournament once since Calipari left. It's like since Lamar Odom at URI when they made the tournament, they made it twice. And since Lamar Odom, in those 2 years where were because of Danny Hurley.
Right.
It's all it's
I think
it's all about coaching.
The other thing
the
that's
college,
changed,
really.
and you made this point about football, is it is the different world of transfer portal NIL. I mean, Temple McKee had recruited some pretty good players because he got Khalif Battle went to Arkansas, Damian Dunn went to Houston.
They were transfers in the first place, though. Dunn wasn't.
Dunn was not. Battle
was.
Zach Hicks went to Penn State, and Jourdain went to Memphis. So, again, you've got to. It's like they always say, those lower programs
Jourdain
are
went to
always.
Memphis?
He did.
For what? Sit on the bench?
No, he played.
That was like Anthony
played.
Lee went to Ohio State. Why? What's his name? Jacob Topin went to Kentucky. Huh?
Good education.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, what do you got next?
I'm done. That's all I got. So I don't know if you want to talk about the MLB at all, but yeah, no, I got through my little agenda here.
We can get to the MLB at some other time. I think. All I'm going to say is, hopefully, over the next couple weeks before Christmas, we'll get some movement on Craig Breslow. I'd like to see them get. It'd be great to get Yamamoto. It'd be great to get Ohtani. But
No.
they're going. I still think to build. They got to build it. They got to build to get two or. It'd be great to have 3 number 3 starters. I hate to say that. Doesn't mean you're going to win a World Series that way. But if you can get good quality 3, there was an article, either the Ringer or the Athletic, the 6 or 7 worst baseball contracts going right now.
Right now,
and
Chris Sale's not on that because he's only got a year left.
His is on there because he has
That's
the
bad.
option year if he finishes top 10 MVP voting.
He won't.
But
if he finishes that,
he was
then
on.
I'm fine with him coming back for another year.
for another $25 million.
But if he's a top 10 Cy Young guy,
He's not gonna be.
That's
Chris
okay.
Sale's on it.
Disagree. Next.
Trevor Story is also on it, by the way.
Sure.
Now let's go sign him instead of Xander.
What about Xander's on there, right?
No.
That's the worst contract in baseball right
Xander's
now.
not on.
They might go bankrupt because of that.
All I remember, they're going to go bankrupt because TV. All I remember is that it was Trevor Story and Chris Sale. So
There's no way Xander wasn't on there.
There's
no
a lot.
Way.
It's only 6 bad. Yelich. Who was the other one on
Poor
there?
Yelich.
Yeah,
he had a good year last year.
Yeah, he rebounded. There was a few other guys that
He's probably just had Sonny Stanton.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
on. Stan's on there. Stan's on there. Anybody else? So I just thought that if it's going to be Craig Breslow's time over the next couple of weeks. See what he can do because the league meetings come up 2 weeks into December.
Hopefully, no one gets sick again.
Yeah, who knows? Well, that was just the GM meeting. The league meetings when they have everybody together and all the agents that are peddling their wares. So it'll be interesting that. Other than that, it's only a good off season because Bloom's not here, as I look at it. And the Red Sox season tickets, I don't have to pay for them until January. So at least we have that going for us.
If they don't do anything, they don't do anything big. If they don't get any credit for firing Bloom, then they're showing me it was all of them. It was their fault. So they got to do some stuff. I know not a lot has happened. Like Sonny Gray signed. What's his name? Nola signed with the Phillies.
And Ken Miata, he's on your fantasy team, wasn't he?
I picked him in like the really high a couple of years ago, and he was horrible when he was on the Twins. But yeah, not a lot has happened yet. But again, there's going to be a time like Yamamoto's going to sign, and then Snell will sign, and then Glasnow will get traded, and then you're kind of sitting here, and if the Red Sox don't do any of those, you're kind of like, all right, what's our team going to look like?
I saw a trade, before we'll finish this, and I have one more NBA question for you.
We didn't do NBA.
I saw a trade, Dylan Cease and Eloy Jimenez for Nick York, Jared Duran, and one of their top Double-A pitching prospects.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, definitely. Eloy Jimenez is annoying as hell because he's always hurt. I thought you were going to say for like Bayo, but yeah, definitely. If it's not one of those, if it's not Bayo, Anderson, or not Anderson, if it's not Bayo, Anthony, or Meyer. Sure. For
Right,
sure.
I agree with that.
Those are the only 3 guys that I'm like, if
Teal,
you're trading one of those 3 guys, you're going to get.
And the catcher, Teal.
All right, I guess, yeah.
So Bayo's not going to.
And then Cassius is past the point of getting traded right now, too. So those 5, like unless you blow me away with something, obviously not, but.
Would you take Dylan Cease and Jimenez for those 3, plus maybe one or 2
obviously,
others?
Yeah, 100%.
So I think the other thing that's good, Bloom was.
I don't think you're giving much up there.
Bloom did a lot like Charrington did. He was hold on, and then all of a sudden the value.
The Charrington holding on was a very good move.
It helped us because he held on to the guys.
Thankfully, he held on.
And give to Dombrowski's credit, he held on to the right guys, right?
Yeah, he made the right
he
trade,
won.
yeah.
So Bloom didn't know what. Bloom couldn't evaluate talent as they got to the next level. Quick NBA question for you: in-season tournament. We're coming down to the stretch because the Celtics have to win by 1 million points tonight.
22, I think.
A positive or negative?
It's a positive. Look, we're all freaking out about this right now because we lost to freaking Orlando by 17. Like, that's the Celtics' fault. It's going to be, look, I would love for the Celtics to win by 22 points tonight. I would love for them to get to the quarterfinals. I would love for them to play a single elimination game where it means something. So yeah, positive. Besides the courts, it's positive because Porzingis then got hurt on the court.
That's true.
So
I think I agree with you. I think it's been a positive NBA. I think there's going to be changes. I think they got to. I think to get rid of the wild card. Just
point differential things
go
a
to
bit
eight
much.
Go to eight. Simple. Go to eight. Go to eight groups of 4. Right, that gets you 32.
There's only 30 teams.
Is there only 30?
I think. Yeah, they haven't expanded.
You got to go to 8 groups.
The thing is, though, they're going to expand. I would keep it as it is, and then you do that because the NBA. I know Adam Silver said once they get their next TV deal done, they're going to expand 2 more teams. So they're going to get 32 teams within the next 10 years. So keep it as is for now, and then do that once you get the 32 teams. Yeah, but the point differential thing right now is
crazy.
It's caused a little bit. I know Tatum kind of complained about it a bit, and DeRozan was mad about guys shooting at the end of the game, but you have to do it. The Celtics tonight, if they're up 40 points or if they're up 25 points after 3 quarters, starters ain't sitting in the fourth quarter. Starters are playing the fourth quarter.
I agree with
that. Doesn't happen.
That.
That shouldn't be happening.
Good take. I like that. It's hard, but it's the first year they've done it. I'm glad they did something. It really hasn't impacted the flow of the season at all. No. And it's bringing a little bit more attention to it.
It's part of the regular season.
Correct.
It's just
except
added,
for the final
you call
game.
It. Yeah,
one extra game. So good. I think that's everything. Did I forget anything?
No.
NBA, MLB, college basketball.
Nope, we got JTrev then. We got Kevin.
JTrev and
I just
Kevin.
wish I had the Michigan audio. It was funny calling them Michigan University.
We actually had Premier League talk earlier in the show. If you want to go back and listen.
Yeah, you got to watch the Garnacho goal. Oh, I'll live there. Play it at my funeral. Honestly, I'll live the rest of my life. I won't see a better goal like that for Manchester United. It was so.
They're not playing it at my funeral.
Because if you watch it and when he went up and he kicked it, and I remember sitting there and watching it, and I was like, he just do that? And then I saw the net ripple, and I didn't know. I got up, I ran up the stairs, I ran around the table screaming, that's the best goal ever. I just had my hands on my head for 20 minutes. Honestly, I didn't start watching the game again for 20 minutes. I was on Twitter. I was at my hands. Did that really just happen? That's one of the reasons I love soccer so much. That type of stuff can happen. Oh, it's great.
All right. That's our final word is the Premier League. Good. See the Camacho? Is it Camacho?
Garnacho.
Alejandro
Garnacho from Argentina.
Okay.
He's a big Ronaldo fanboy. Doesn't like Messi. He's from Argentina.
Okay.
It's the funniest thing ever.
So get that clip if you can. If you have any questions or comments on our show, get to Jack. He's the one running the deal now. So for Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle. This is It All Boils Down to This, and we'll see you on down the road. Thanks for listening to this episode of It All Boils Down to This, recorded at WCTV studios in our hometown of Wilmington, Massachusetts. We're always open to any ideas, critiques, topics, and guests. So if anyone out there in podcast world needs to get a hold of us, we can be reached via email at jboyle22@comcast.net. Along with Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle. Make sure to tune in to the next edition of It All Boils Down to This.